All right, now let's move on to the next item, key performance results for January 2022. Peter Ryan, welcome to the table. Thank you. So any comment on this report and any updates since the report was written? Thank you.
Yes, look, good morning. I'm mindful of the pressure on the agenda and time this morning, so I would like to really just talk to the highlights rather than try to line by line the report. Just a quick reminder that this is a report against the key organisational goals for performance, and it's the year-end view, so it's a forecast looking ahead. It's slightly bittersweet in the sense that levels of service are steady but slightly under target, and that's by about 3%. We're at 82, looking for 85. We've lost about 3% due to the impact of COVID on the galleries, museum, record sports centres. There are other levels of service which are fairly routinely at risk during the year, but the 3% is definitely COVID related, and that's will come up later in the exceptions. So were it not for that, we would be on track. It's actually remarkable under the circumstances that we are where we are, given the disruption during the year. Capital is also steady and slightly under for exactly the same reasons around the impact of the supply chain issues and the status, the red alert status. The good news, capital planning is well up. There's been some recalculations there. Capital planning, I'll remind you, is about feeding the beginning of the pipe. So to enable delivery, we need the planning to be in place. That's well up due to the recalculation of those. And of course, in terms of the operational budget, we're in surplus. Now, below all of these, you'll get detailed reports from the Project Management Office on Capital and from the finance team. I'll just step quickly through a little bit of the detail, but that's the 2-minute overview. There is some caution around the forecast for levels of service because we're still awaiting results from the resident survey. We'll know that in the next month or two, and at that point we'll be a bit more clear about how those have come in. In the meantime, anything that wasn't successful last year is still being marked as amber rather than counted as a success. So it's not regarded as in the bag until we know it is. The other exceptions that are not COVID related are things like relatively standard things like water use per day, water loss from the network. But COVID has definitely hit rec and sports fees and charges, transport, on-street, off-street parking, compliance, and of course community events have taken a beating from COVID. The watch list capital projects were at 85%, looking for 90, so just below. As I said earlier, that's due to the red status, skills and capacity issues and supply chain issues. I will point out, though, that even though it's slightly below target, it's been pulling upwards and steadily through the year. So there's a graph there on project delivery that shows consistent lift right through the year to this point. So while we're not quite bang on yet, the drift, the direction of travel is very strong. In terms of planning for capital, planning for 22-23, we're at 91%, which is over target. We're fine. We've done that. That should be feeding the capital program into the future. The 24-25 year, we're still only at 60% planned for, but that has until the 1st of May to be achieved. So we've still got a little bit of wriggle room there yet. Now, so that's the highlights of performance: steady, affected by COVID, and a few of the usual suspects around levels of service. There are the details of the level of service exceptions are there, and I'd rather take them as read and respond to any questions. We've got heads of here to respond to specific questions around parks or transport. If we can't respond immediately, we commit to coming back to you with an answer.
All right, so moving to any questions on this report. Sam.
Yeah, there were probably two things, Peter. And Andrew, I don't know if it's okay with you. We could probably take it offline. And Lee, I'd love to sit down and have a think about how this is presented, because I'm not sure that the public can fully capture even just the brief summary at the beginning. So I'd love to do that if that's okay with you guys. Just the other one is around the governance and decision making around the Lagoima requests. And so we met our obligations 99% of the time, which is good, but there were 5 that were sort of outstanding. It looks like it says one of them was sent directly to staff and not actioned, but it doesn't sort of comment on the other 4, and I just wondered what the go is. Is there something that sits in behind it?
There will be, but I don't have it to hand, so I'll speak to Sean and we can find out what the other details are.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Okay, so if we can get that information brought back, and Sam, maybe you and I and relevant staff could sit down and look at the format of the report.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yep, I'm happy to do that. That's fine. Any other questions for Peter? All right, so I'm happy to move that we receive the information provided in the report. Sam's happy to second. Any discussion? All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? That's carried. So now moving very quickly on to item 11, the Capital Project Performance Report.